Federal Communications Commission Chairman Ajit released a controversial plan Tuesday that would change the way the federal government regulates internet service providers. The plan, expected to win approval in December, would roll back Obama-era rules on net neutrality, which aimed to ensure that companies like Comcast and Verizon treat all data equally across their networks, regardless of the content or sender. Most popular figures from a nativity scene salvaged from a burned home in the Coffey Park neighborhood of Santa Rosa. Editorial: The White House demonstrates outrageous neglect of people walk past a vacant restaurant space in the 181 Sanchez St development on the corner of Market Street near 15th Street, where two other retail storefronts are also vacant. SF developers struggling to fill new ground floor retail spaces. Passengers wait in line to board a cable car at Powell and O'Farrell streets in San Francisco. Cable cars climb halfway to the stars, but SF tourists. The White House has requested $44 billion in aid for hurri. Cane hit Texas, Florida, Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Trump administration rejects California lawmakers' criticism. A house in Martinez had about 50 turkeys in the front yard. Wild turkeys thriving in the Bay Area suburbs. Pooping. Karishma Chawla works on an app from her home in San Jose in August. For decades, spouses of H-1B visa holders could not get jobs until a rule issued 2 years ago granted them work permits. The Trump administration is poised to revoke that rule by the end of the year. Trump administration has plans to wipe out work permits for Ken Norton Jr.'s defense has finished 26th overall in each of the last 2 years. Paul Chin, The Chronicle. Raiders fire defensive coordinator Ken Norton Jr., John Pagano. Consumer advocates see the FCC's move as a blow, as do Silicon Valley giants like Facebook and Netflix, which fear that the rollback could mean that the internet providers charge more to speed their content across the providers' wires. Small content companies worry that they could get squeezed out in a price war if the internet service providers require companies to pay more. Ending net neutrality would be terrible for consumers, said Ernesto Falcon, a legislative attorney with the Electronic Frontier Foundation in San Francisco. It will give companies free rein to discriminate against certain content by allowing the internet service providers to cut special deals with big companies. Pai says there is little evidence to support such fears, and the debate shows that we have yet to determine how to fundamentally approach cyberspace. In 2015, the FCC issued the rules because it feared that providers could give faster speeds to larger corporations who paid them more for network access, shutting out smaller competitors. Theoretically, service providers could also charge higher prices to consumers who want to see content originally confined to slower speeds. In undoing those rules, Pai is essentially saying such preventative laws amount to regulatory paranoia. The rules, a solution in search of a problem, will only hurt innovation by drowning companies with unnecessary red tape, he said. But Pai's deregulatory, hands-off approach seems a bit outdated. After all, we are now witnessing the very real threats the broader internet poses to our democracy and economy. Companies like Google and Amazon are increasingly amassing enormous market power. And U.S. intelligence agencies have concluded that Russia spread misinformation through Facebook and Twitter to influence last year's presidential election. These events are not directly related to net neutrality, but they create an environment that screams for government attention. The debate over net neutrality is not going to end until Congress says what the FCC can or can't do, said Larry Downs, project director of the Georgetown Center for Business and Public Policy in Washington. The last time Congress did anything was 1996, with the landmark law that deregulated the telecom industry. We're just going to keep going back and forth with these issues.